NFL free agency officially kicks off this week, starting on Monday, where the legal tampering window does open. This means teams can start meeting with free agents and discussing contracts and coming to deals. The deals do not become official until Wednesday, however, when the new league officially starts. There are a lot of free agents out there, a lot of big names and rumors circulating where they could be going. In this video, I'm going to break down some of the biggest names, where I think they're going, where they make the most sense to me, and where I think they're the best fit. So go ahead and sit back, relax, and let's get into the video. Before we get too much further, you know what to do. Make sure you hit a like and subscribe to this channel. It really does help me out here and helps the channel grow so we can get, more videos out like this. Now, these are just some of the big names out there. There's a lot more guys, in free agency that are going to be finding new teams, but these are just some of the headlines and just stories that I've been seeing and where I think these players are going to be going. Starting with Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones will be ending up with the Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones is one of those quarterbacks where it just really hasn't worked out for him. He's had flashes of brilliance, but he's also had cratering moments where it makes you question if he's able to compete in the NFL. 2022 saw his best statistical season, throwing for 3,205 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. This earned him a contract extension, but unfortunately in 2023, he ended up getting hurt, only playing 6 games. Going into the 2024 season, the Giants did have a high draft pick that they used on Malik Neighbors, but they did get rid of their best player in Saquon Barkley. This led the Giants offense to kind of be flat, to be fair. This ultimately led the Giants to release Daniel Jones, and he ended up signing with the Minnesota Vikings. He is now hitting free agency and can basically play wherever he wants. The only thing is, I don't see a lot of teams lining up for Daniel Jones to be a starter right now. That's where the Colts come in. The Colts used the number 4 overall pick in the 2023 draft on Anthony Richardson. Richardson was considered a project quarterback, meaning he had to work on some mechanics because he only played such a limited time in college. With that said, Anthony's time in the NFL has not been ideal. He's been hurt a lot. Fans have been questioning if he was the right pick or if he is a bust. This is why the Colts kind of make sense for Daniel Jones. They need to bring somebody in to compete with Anthony Richardson to kind of see what they have in him. Bringing in a player like Daniel Jones, who has NFL experience, who has had a good season under his belt, could be the perfect recipe for both Jones and the Colts. This is a win-win situation for the Colts. If they take Jones and they go to camp and Richardson ends up beating Jones in camp, Jones becomes one of the best backups in the league automatically. But however, if Jones does beat out Richardson in camp, it shows that Richardson is not their guy and they will be able to move on from him in the future. For Jones, it's a true second chance to become a starter again and revive his career, just kind of like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold recently have. To me, this move makes way too much sense, so mark me down as Daniel Jones to the Indianapolis Colts is my gut feeling. Next up, coming off his Super Bowl win, we have Josh Sweat, and I think he's going to be going to the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals need help on edge. They're in a division that's retooling. San Francisco shipped off Deebo Samuel, and they're also looking to offload Ayuk, according to reports. Seattle just released Tyler Lockett and possibly maybe having to deal DK Metcalf. The only team that's a real threat are the Rams. So this is your time to actually compete in that division. They have the most money to spend within their division, and now is the time to spend it. They need more help on the defensive line as well, definitely in that interior option as well. But having somebody like Sweat, especially with his experience, can only help motivate that room. Now, the Cardinals also need help with offensive line as well as wide receiver. They could probably use one more to go along with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like I said, they have the most money to spend in their division, and they should be spending it this offseason. So getting somebody like Sweat along with a receiver that's a little more affordable as well, I think the Cardinals at that point would have a really good shot at competing for that division. Next up, we have the most coveted quarterback in free agency, Sam Darnold, and I think he is going to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this one was really between Tennessee and Seattle, but since Seattle has more cap space and the fact that the Titans own the first overall pick, I am siding a little more with Seattle over the Titans, but it could go either way. The Seahawks are the newest QB needy team. They traded away Geno Smith to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Raiders were expected to be making a big splash in free agency, but they opted to trade for Geno Smith. Now that Seattle does have this need at quarterback, I think Sam Darnold is the perfect fit for them. DK Metcalf did request a trade from the Seahawks, but it is being reported that they are hoping that if they do get Sam Darnold, that it will make DK stay. This will also help improve the receiver room, having DK Metcalf and JSN in the same place for Sam Darnold to operate. This can also mean that they're going to draft a receiver in a very deep receiver class. And like I said with the Cardinals, this seems like a very winnable division. The only real competition appears to be the Rams. At this point, you kind of have to go all in and get to the playoffs again in a very winnable division. So why not make a splash? Next up, we got wide receiver Stephon Diggs coming off that ACL injury. I have him staying in the state and going to the Dallas Cowboys. Diggs is coming off a non-contact ACL injury, which is a tough injury to come back no matter what. Add on the fact that Stefon Diggs is in his 30s, and that's also kind of why teams may not be willing to pay that top dollar anymore. With that said, the Texans have said they are open to keeping Stefon Diggs on the Texans, but it would need to be a team-friendly deal. The team did just trade for Christian Kirk earlier this week, so that option looks less and less likely. Just because Diggs is in his 30s doesn't mean he has nothing left in the tank. That's why I think he's just going to head up north a little and head to Dallas and join his brother on the Cowboys. The Cowboys need a receiver like Diggs who can complement CeeDee Lamb and kind of get the attention away from him and open another option for Dak. I think Diggs could be that missing puzzle piece to unlock that offense, along with if they draft a running back. The Cowboys have said that they are going to pass on a running back in the first round, which if they do, that's fine. This appears to be a very deep running back class, so if they could get somebody like Diggs to complement CD and then get that running back, I think that offense is completely transformed. Next up, we got Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to stay in New York, just switch locker rooms, and he's going to head over to the New York Giants. The Giants are in desperate need of a quarterback. They have a great receiver in Malik Neighbors. Even with questionable quarterback play, he still put up big numbers. Now imagine what he would do with somebody like Aaron Rodgers under center. This is where I think Aaron Rodgers is the perfect fit. He seems to be a man who likes to have his routine, not having to relocate and have to drive to the same stadium, stay in the same house you're already living in, just have to switch locker rooms. I think that's appealing to a player, especially being in the largest sports market in the country. I'm sure that helps. Rodgers doesn't want to go out the way he did on the Jets. He wants to go to a team where he can have say, he can have control, and he can get, guys he wants. I think the Giants are that team. Dable has an offense that, people thought Daniel Jones could run. He couldn't. I think Rodgers can run that offense. Malik Neighbors, I think, would be fed. They'd obviously have to get some O-line depth. They'd have to get some help in the secondary. But I think this offense would look completely different with Aaron Rodgers under center. Next up, we have a man who was recently released in Evan Ingram. I have him going to the Los Angeles Rams. The Jaguars
Duval
appear to be getting rid of a lot of people. One of them was Evan Ingram. I'm kind of shocked by this because Evan Ingram seems like a reliable pass catching option for any offense. Now that he's about to hit free agency, I think the best place for him is Los Angeles with the Rams. Sean McVay has never had a pass catching tight end with the abilities that Ingram has had before. I think this will transform the McVay offense. Not to mention with all the rumors of Matthew Stafford possibly leaving the Rams this offseason, only for him to return, it makes me think that whatever they told him Stafford's buying into, meaning they might have something here. Having a dynamic pass catcher like Evan Ingram could transform this offense into something we haven't seen before. Who knows what a McVay offense can look like with a pass catching tight end? That's why I really just kind of want to see him go to Los Angeles. Another big name is Chris Godwin. I have Chris Godwin going over to Los Angeles as well, but he's going to the Chargers. It will be very weird not seeing Chris Godwin in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniform, but looking at their numbers, I don't see any other possibility. Chris Godwin might be the best available receiver in this free agent market, and with the Chargers having as much money as they do, it would only make sense. Ladd McConkey was great for the Chargers last year, but adding somebody like Godwin who can be a true, veteran presence and leader to help grow that team, not to mention give Justin Herbert a reliable option to pass to, I just think that one makes too much sense, especially with Harbaugh's offense being so focused on the run. But having Godwin and McConkey, I think that offense will run faster. It'll open up the passing game to allow the run game, which is what I think Harbaugh's trying to get to anyway. He likes pounding the rock. He wants to get the run game going. Well, the best way to do that is to get a good pass game. So for me, Chris Godwin to the Chargers, lock it in. Speaking of the Chargers, one of the biggest offseason releases that was a shock was Joey Bosa. Now for this one, I am selecting two teams. I could see him going to the Commanders or the 49ers. I know this one is kind of cheating because I picked two teams, but there's a reason behind it. On the one hand, my football heart wants Joey Bosa to go to the 49ers. Him playing alongside his brother on that edge would be incredible. The only reason I don't think that's going to happen is San Francisco appears to be in a complete rebuild in a way. They got rid of Debo. They're looking to trade Ayuk, like I mentioned before, but also Dre Greenlaw is a free agent, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. They got to pay Brock Purdy. There's a lot of moving parts in that organization going on right now. Logically, he's going to go to the Commanders. The Commanders are a great option. They went on a surprise playoff run, almost made it to the Super Bowl, but their biggest issue was getting pressure on the quarterback. This is where Joey Bosa would take them to another level. He would be able to get into that backfield, create havoc, and help that defense get much better. Not to mention, Jaden Daniels only completed his rookie season, and he only really had Terry McLaurin to throw to. Now you're going to add Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin to this offense. It makes it a much more appealing destination. That's why I just think it makes the most sense for Joey Bosa to go to Washington. But that's just a few thoughts that I had, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong. And if you're watching this after free agency started, let me know what I definitely got wrong, because it's probably all of it. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. Have a good one.